Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back here with another video, and welcome to the third and penultimate part of my ideas to hopefully, all being well, benefit Ireland potentially. If you disagree with any of my ideas or points, please let me know. If you agree or disagree or anything you want to comment, constructive criticism, positive feedback, anything you did or did not like or do not or do like about the video at the end of it or whatever. What am I trying to say? I don't know. But anything you want to comment, basically, please feel free to comment. I'd love to know your opinions or any ideas you have to benefit Ireland. Most importantly, I was going to say, actually, I almost forgot. I just remembered that I meant to say it's in part one, actually, but I thought as I forgot, I thought I'd wait for this one. But the point of making these videos, really, and sometimes I have to remind myself of the point, and I like things to be just so or in a certain way, and I should perhaps prioritize. But the point is to benefit Ireland as much as possible, with the focus being on Ireland, as it is technically St. Patrick's Day now. So happy St. Patrick's Day on that note, given that it is past midnight. I know I myself would class 1 in the morning as a new day because things normally start at 1. Like most things, they start with the number 1. But anyway, hope I'm making some sense. But I know I think in a very quirky way. But basically, if you have any ideas of your own to benefit Ireland, any ideas, plans, thoughts, or whatnot, please let me and others know in the comment section. So I hope there'll be a discussion in the comment section, which is most likely below the video. It generally is. Bloody cats. Hope they don't cause too much damage. But anyway, here goes. So these are ideas, pointers, thoughts, or whatever you call them. Number 21 to 30. So 21, as the saying goes, 21 again. I always say that one pretty much. But I wonder how Ireland could connect with the Irish diaspora. So in other words, diaspora or diaspora, how do you pronounce it? Please let me know that one in the comments as well. In other words, people of Irish descent, especially those who are proud to be of Irish descent and want to connect with their roots. For instance, maybe they could visit Ireland, their ancestral homeland, if they haven't already done so, or maybe they could be encouraged to do so more often. Maybe I'd love, if I could only plan things, if I could and better and be more organised and find a way to do so. I would love to, again, if I could put things into action, I would love to promote each year on St. Patrick's Day for people to visit Ireland and for Ireland to host like sort of investment events that bring in so many investors, potential investors, and people, especially from of an Irish descent, and possibly just general investors, those with Irish connections, but also general investors to come to Ireland and to invest, and also. As I say each year on St. Patrick's Day, I wonder if Ireland has its own national day, and if not, maybe they could have one. I don't know if St. Patrick's is their national day or just their day for their patron saint. I don't know if that's the same thing. But anywho, how can they connect with the diaspora? And also maybe even if the diaspora cannot necessarily visit Ireland itself for whatever reason, let's say they're running a business and they can't take that time away from their business, maybe. Again, if they can't take that focus away from their business or time off work or whatever it is, maybe they could discuss ideas via Zoom. I think Zoom can have up to 100 people, so it's not going to have millions and millions of people, but it could still be a certain amount of people who can share ideas, and also maybe online on forums and things like on YouTube, on Facebook, or on other forms of social media or on websites. Maybe Ireland itself could have its own website which encourages people from the diaspora to talk about their ideas and invest and how they can invest in Ireland if they can't, and maybe visit it if they can. And also to recap, as I say, 21 again, to recap some of my ideas. I'd love to go and visit Ireland and share my ideas with the Irish government, Irish politicians, policymakers, businesses, and whatnot in Ireland. If they think any of my ideas are good enough to put into practice, maybe they could help me to put them into practice or put them into practice themselves from my ideas, which I hope will benefit Ireland in this case. And also, I'd love for Irish people to support Italian football and Celtic as much as possible, maybe through investment and through buying the merchandise of Serie A teams. Anyway, moving on, number 22. Once again, maybe each year, unlikely it would be done in time this year because I haven't organised it as well as I'd like, and I've sort of left things to the last minute and thought I could come up with those ideas at the last minute. But obviously, in terms of travel, it's a bit too late, I imagine, unfortunately, as ever. Um, but if people could travel to Ireland each year on the on St Patrick's Day, on the 17th, obviously, of March each year, possibly from 2025, sorry, even from next year, basically, if people could take this idea and put it into practice. So each year from 2025, maybe, if not this year, on Zoom and maybe even physical meetings. Maybe Ireland could host events where they invite potential investors and anyone who can come up with ideas and maybe have different events as well, and also invite heads of state from different nations and things like that to Ireland. And again, discussing on Zoom and via websites and social media and things like that. Sorry, my eyes are probably a bit droopy because it's quite late. But yeah, again, sorry for leaving this video till too late, as my brain is turning a bit mushy. Not that it generally works that well, but anyway, as I say, they could host events. Hopefully, if not this year, from next year onwards, maybe even this year, if people stumble across this video and people take the ideas I have and put them into practice. People who are more practical than me, maybe through Zoom, they could discuss ideas to benefit Ireland, and people could be encouraged to buy from Irish businesses, support Irish banks, and just generally support Irish projects like social media content creators and things like that, as I discussed in parts 1 and 2. Number 23, again, I'd love to look at ways Ireland can fundraise and build its finances, improve its finances as a nation, as a country, and basically its economy, anything that can benefit Ireland's economy and help to fundraise for Irish projects and things like that, bring in investment, have investment events like the case for investing in Ireland and things like that. And also, I'd love to see how Ireland can benefit other nations. So I had an idea, for instance, where I would love for Ireland to have relations with African nations and indigenous Africans and Australasians, and to help them in STEM generally, and help to fundraise for STEM for indigenous Africans and Australasians. I'd love to know what Irish people think on that idea, as well as all my other ideas that I've shared in these videos, and the ones I share about Ireland generally. So yeah, I'd love to know what Irish people think about anti-imperialism and supporting African nations and also indigenous Australasians in terms of helping them with training in STEM, helping schools in those nations, and how Irish people in STEM, especially technology, can help African nations and indigenous Africans and Australasians generally. And also, as I say, how to tackle poverty in Ireland and how Ireland can help other nations, as I say, across Africa, Asia, and indigenous communities across Australasia and the Americas, especially as Irish people emigrated to Australasia and the Americas. I was going to discuss my thoughts on immigration, but I keep forgetting things, so it's a bit frustrating. But anyway, moving on, number 24, I'd love to see how Ireland can unite. Again, I know I mentioned in part 1 that I would love to discuss whether there could be a united Ireland, and if so, when, and would that be a good thing or not? I suppose with the divisions between people from those communities, like in Northern Ireland and whatnot, would it be really good? But at least Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, could unite. Maybe if their economy is strong and improves, then people in Northern Ireland might think actually it would be a great idea to rejoin the Republic of Ireland because its economy is strong and the way of life hopefully can improve. Again, if it has a good way of life and a strong economy, they might want to rejoin and unite together. But I'd love to know what people's views are for and against each of the ideas. As I say, that I mentioned, number 25. Again, it would be cool if they hosted different events like Republic events and worked with other republics as a network. I often talk about that, how I'd love to help republics to network together and just generally benefit republics. Um, and again, it could network with other republics and invite people from republics, especially, as well as people generally, to Ireland, um, and host as many events as possible. I think there was another point I was going to make in number 24. That was it. Like the national day. I wonder if St. Patrick's is the national day of Ireland, and whether like March itself as a whole month could be Ireland's sort of empowerment month or whatever, something for Ireland for a whole month of March, not just one day. And maybe there could be an Independence Day of when Ireland got independent from the UK if they don't already have one. But I'd love to know again what people think about that. Should there be an Irish Independence Day if there isn't already one, and if so, when should it be? When do you think Ireland's National Day should be, if not St. Patrick's Day itself? Maybe that's, or should they have a different National Day, and stroke or Independence Day? Sorry, I'm throwing on my words again. Number 26. I wonder what Irish people think again of anti-imperialism and networking with African and Asian nations or nations that were colonized. I know if you go back further enough or far enough back in time, you could say Britain itself was colonized. To be fair, so I suppose it depends what you class as colonization and how far you go back. But maybe it could be part of a network which networks together with other nations, countries, or whatever you call them, which have been colonized by the UK, countries like Kenya, India, and maybe even China and others, which I hope will benefit Ireland as well as those nations. In other words, I hope it will be a mutual benefit, and of course, I hope Ireland will benefit itself as well as those nations, as I say, and also nations which have been split up, like for instance, Spain, China, India, Korea, and places like that. So nations that are no longer as they were historically. So nations that have been annexed, I think is the word, or divided. Maybe they could have a network between them, like so. Nations that I'd say like Ireland which was split into North and Southern Ireland, and Korea, which has been split into North and South Korea, China, which had Hong Kong annexed, I think that's the right word, I'd say, and India, which was split up with India and Pakistan and that kind of thing. And all those nations, basically Spain, for instance, and maybe even Argentina, you could say, with the Falkland Islands. It'd be interesting if those nations network together. Again, I'd love to know what people think about that and anti-imperialism. I'd love to know what Irish people think about anti-imperialism and that kind of thing. Anywho, moving on, number 27. Once again, I'd love to see, maybe as a reward for my support of Ireland, especially if it's effective and Irish people think it's a positive support and productive, and I managed to put these ideas into action, I would love to see Irish people support Serie A teams, or even as a thank you for Italy beating England in the Euros. People could support Italian football because of that. Number 28, again, countries that are annexed could unite together. Ironically, it's Italy's Unification Day tomorrow. And I didn't even think of that when I was mentioning those points. But also, I'll say what Italy and Ireland have in common, I'll say, because St. Patrick's Day on the same day as Italy's Unification or Unity Day. I think it's officially the Unification Day, but I sometimes call it Unity Day. I suppose that means pretty much the same thing. Number 29, I'd love to see what neurodivergent people can do for Ireland. So people with dyslexia, ADHD, and related conditions, like what ideas we could come up with to benefit Ireland. Could we visit Ireland? Could our touring of Ireland benefit the nation because we're spending money in Ireland, in the hotels and in the shops and things like that, and we're benefiting their tourism industry and things like that, and that kind of thing. So I wonder how neurodiverse people can benefit Ireland, and how people from Ireland can learn about the success stories of neurodivergent people, like people with ADHD and dyslexia, or even autism, and that kind of thing in business and other areas. So yeah, those success stories and that kind of thing. Could we benefit Ireland? I believe we probably could. I'd love to see organisations like Made by Dyslexia and Dyslexia Advantage and others showing what we can do, and also dyslexia, ADHD individuals and autistic individuals basically people with those conditions and related conditions, and also what my fellow mixed race people could do for Ireland. And also, I'd love to know about the experiences of mixed race people and black people, people of colour, and others, and all sorts of people, including those with dyslexia, perhaps, in Ireland. And number 30, I know this is an idea I often come up with, which is not the most professional, so I hope this doesn't put people off. And I kind of left it to the end, but I often say like a dirty idea. But my imaginations, I was thinking, what if Irish people could be for colonisation by getting to become porn stars and gigolos and stuff like that, and screwing British chicks, as I say, British bitches. But please forgive me for that one. But it's just my humour, but also my imagination and all that kind of thing. And I think of like storylines, stuff like that. Probably another one of those things I shouldn't have said, but I was wondering whether to say it or not. But sometimes I get a bit shy to discuss my honest opinions and thoughts, and perhaps sometimes I wonder whether I should have included it for adult, which I didn't. But anyway, I'm going to stop waffling, and I'm out. Peace and love.